Like most people the campfire killed, 88-year-old Julian Binstock never even made it out his front door. PG&E pled guilty to felony manslaughter for killing him and 83 other people who burned to death.
I don't know that I'll ever be able to let it go. They murdered my father. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
It was criminal negligence. PG&E let a 100-year-old power line fall into such disrepair, it broke in the wind, skimping on safety to maximize profits, according to prosecutors.
They knew damned well what they were doing.
A human being would get 90 years in prison for these crimes, but corporations can't go to prison. So PG&E got the max fine of $3.5 million, just a small fraction of a percent of the monopoly's annual earnings. No one from PG&E went to prison. All that's left now for the victims' families is to learn the details, to learn what the people at PG&E did to cause the fire.
I want to know who's responsible for killing my father, and I have the right to know. This is a crime. They pled guilty.
Dozens of PG&E employees talked before PG&E pled guilty, testifying under oath to a grand jury.
These are the words that were spoken that led PG&E to plead guilty to these crimes.
That is correct.
Now that the case is over, we're supposed to be able to read those thousands of pages of transcripts, but we can't. This lawsuit, paid for by PG&E, is holding those transcripts up, asking to black out the names of PG&E employees involved in the criminal case. PG&E tried to get the lower court to black out the names of every PG&E employee mentioned, more than 200 names in all. In response to our questions, PG&E said it only wants to black out names. PG&E argues there's no new fact or understanding to be gained from having the names of the employees included in the transcripts. The prosecutor disagrees. The more names are hidden, he says, the less likely we'll understand the whole story of PG&E's crimes.
How hard will it be to make sense of it if they get their way on that?
It would be extraordinarily difficult.
Our investigation also found a problem with the lawsuit that PG&E paid for. It tells the court something that isn't true. The suit itself is filed on behalf of 22 anonymous PG&E employees and tells the court that these are low to mid-level workers at PG&E. That's false, and we can prove it's false because we obtained all 22 names behind this black box and researched them. Our investigation revealed 3 out of 4 held management jobs at PG&E with words like senior, director, manager, or supervisor in their titles. Some work in finance, many oversee high voltage lines and towers like the one that sparked the campfire. 2 of these supposedly low to mid-level employees appear on PG&E's own list of high-level employees, a list that PG&E had to turn over to a judge after its last felony convictions, that time for blowing up a neighborhood in San Bruno, which killed 8. We asked PG&E to comment on the falsehood in the lawsuit that it paid for. They didn't. The lawsuit claims this is about threats of harm to these PG&E officials. Examples of alleged threats were blacked out, but we found those too. None involved threats of violence against specific PG&E workers. Phil thinks this is really about protecting PG&E workers from the court of public opinion.
They need to suffer the consequences of their actions, and part of that is that the world recognizes who they are and what they did.
We are choosing not to publish the 22 names on this list at this time, not out of safety concerns, but because when we named these people, we want to be able to tell you how they're involved in the story. With the transcripts on hold, that's pretty tough to do. We believe the public has a right to know the full story of how PG&E, a state-granted monopoly, committed 84 felony counts of manslaughter and burned down a whole town. We're working to bring that story to light.